Zach from Alphacharts with a state of the market video. Today is September 13th, 2025. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. And I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. All right, thank you all for watching the video. Couple quick notes. First off, you can find me on X at AlphaCharts365. I'm posting stuff there all the time, so definitely go ahead and add me to your list if you're on X. If you really like my stuff, I do run a subscriber group, give you a ton of content for only $10 a month. In-depth market report and video, which I make every single weekend. It includes my extended watch list. That's idea generation. I can't be in every name, but I go over some of the best names in the market and give some ideas for everybody to make the trades their own. But the names I do love, I create a focus list video, usually has about 5 names on there with my favorite ideas and specifically where I would buy, sell, or hold. Um, Midweek videos, I do that twice a week actually, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I do a midweek market note on Thursdays as well. It goes along with that video on Thursdays. And I do one on Sunday that kind of puts everything together in one spot. All the videos, my thoughts on the market, plan for the week, all that kind of stuff. And that's in the that's the market note on Sunday. And again, I do another one on Thursday. I do annotated chart setups. I do market scans, posts just for subscribers, just about every day. Um, and I do live streams roughly once a month or so. It's very interactive. Subscribers can ask questions, chart requests, all that kind of stuff. I don't tell you to buy or sell, just where I would manage risk. What I would do is kind of my journal in a lot of ways, but you guys can come along for the ride with it. Make your own decisions. Some people trade names I'm showing. They trade some of the names. They trade their own names. They learn a lot just by seeing the process. For $10 a month, it is, I think, invaluable if you work full time, if you're new to trading, if you just need an extra little voice you're not sure, even if you've been trading for a while. For $10 a month, it is a great deal. Just click that subscribe button. If you're a YouTube only watcher, I offer the same video content and annotated charts to YouTube. Just click on the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Again, it's all the same information, whether you do YouTube or X. I just post it to both. But check out that if you're YouTube only. I think the invaluable amount of information there. All right, let's get into these charts. Let's go into Dow Jones Industrial, and you see this is why I'm bullish. I mean, this is why I'm bullish right over here. You saw the breakout, you saw the retest, you see the move higher. The trend is up, and it's holding the breakout just fine. Um, this looks really good. Let's take a look here. Here's your SPY chart. By the way, Dow Jones Industrial, they were up on the week. I always like to look at weekly charts. Up 1% on the week, just about, right? The SPY was up 1.57 on the week. So again, solid week, moving higher. You see here is, the trend. And I mean, it's hard to be bearish with this trend. I mean, it looks really good. RSP, there's the same base. Looks very similar to the Dow Jones Industrial pre-breakout, right? So you see we're just now breaking out. Maybe we get a little chop. Again, FOMC this week. Don't forget, Wednesday, there's an interest rate decision. And we may see this may be some front running. We also have options expiration at the end of the week on Friday, I believe, the 17th. Check the dates. But yeah, so this looks like very similar to Dow Jones, trying to break out on the weekly, up a 1/4%. So again, not wonderful, but I just think it's lagging a little bit behind some of the other indexes, but not doing anything wrong. Trend is still higher. Here's the Qs, super strong in the Qs, all-time highs. There's your trend. Looking at the weekly, up 1.84%. Very strong week for the Qs. Again, closing at all-time highs. Equal weighted Qs. You see on the weekly chart, just making this kind of flag. This was the uh-oh week, right? And everything has been inside that mother bar, which is interesting. But nothing is broken down. And I think that it bodes very well for the equal weighted Qs. Again, still trying to figure things out. Looks a lot like Palantir, right? I mean, when you look at Palantir, I mean, this looks just like equal weighted Qs. That's so funny when that works out like that, right? But yeah, they look exactly the same. I think they're both going higher. Looks really good. Mid caps, a little pullback on Friday, but overall trend, there's a breakout. Trend is higher, near all-time highs. I think that's really bullish. Down on the week though, that's kind of interesting. So a little bit down on the week, and then you had IWM, which was up about a 0.25%. And again, this is the bigger picture, right? This is this breaks out, and I'm not saying it's going to break out this week. We don't know. It's kind of extended now anyway. Look, all these weeks up, from the bottom here in April, like small caps have done very well. Um, maybe it pulls back a little bit for a week or two, and then it breaks out. But that breakout eventually, which I think will happen, I think that's gonna be really, really strong, really, really powerful, and I think that bodes very well for the market. You see the daily, again, a little pullback here, maybe to 231-ish or something like that, right? 2-3% pullback, which would not be much this, for the week or next 2 weeks or so. And then we get a breakout. That would be a super, super strong breakout. Let's go to the sectors. And then, I'll go to the dashboard at the end of this. I usually don't do that. I say that for subscribers, but we'll go to the dashboard because I'm interested. I haven't looked at it yet at the end of the week, so we'll do that at the end. So stick around for a few more minutes. Uh, Financials right near all-time highs. They're up, 1.3%, right? And they're closing almost at weekly all-time highs, almost right there. SMH did close at all-time highs, up 3.76. Most important sector in the market, period. End of story. There's no more to say after that. Most important sector, closing all-time highs, very, very bullish. You see the weekly, again, I'm sorry, the daily, you just a strong, strong week. And you say, well, what about the equal weights? Well, equal weights, very, very strong. Weekly all-time high closing as well, up 3%. So it's not just Nvidia and Broadcom moving, it's everything in the semiconductor world moving. That is super bullish. Okay, I mean, that's it. IYT, these are transports trying to make this base. Again, looks a lot like Dow Jones, like in here somewhere, right? Um, but it's trying to turn the corner. We'll see if it does, but it has that look that looks constructive, and that's what we want to see in transports. And here's the equal weighted transports. Again, has that look. Would like to see it take out 88 or so, but overall, it's constructive. Higher lows. Yeah, and there are some lower highs in here, so I'm not blind, but it's just a consolidation within this uptrend. Housing came back, retested. You want to be long housing? I mean, this is the probably a good spot to consider that, right? Versus here comes the moving averages catching up. But again, the uptrend is there. Housing looks good. More equal weighted housing again looks absolutely fine. Higher highs and higher lows, all the way from the bottom. When we started talking about housing, that was looking constructive here with this higher low. Go back, look at the videos. We were very specific about this spot right there, and it's done very well. Mag 7, I mean, might be the most bullish chart out there. Look at that. I mean, all-time highs, broke out of this big base, retested it twice, and then moved higher on the week. You're talking about almost a 3% move in the biggest names in the market. I mean, looks absolutely fantastic. Bitcoin also moving up. That is very bullish after just a retest. You see the weekly retest right there. Look in here. There you go. Bitcoin looks amazing. And Ethereum also, I mean, just monster week for Ethereum, up almost 8%. And it looks like it wants to move higher. So very, very, very risk on across the board, right? We'll look at the internals, or at least some of them, a couple of them that I look at that look important on the dashboard next. So hold on. If you haven't done so, check me out at Alphacharts 365, please, and click that subscribe button. You will really like that info, in my opinion. But I'm giving it, so I'm biased, I guess. Here we go. Then this is one of my dashboards I like to look at, and I'll just go over real quick. You see the uptrend. We are still in a power trend here. Stage 2 uptrend. That's this little green box right there. Net highs are prevailing over net new lows. So net new highs, 162. That looks really good. This is a breadth indicator. We are not extreme in breadth, but is a positive, which looks really good. And again, we have reset our cycle, and now we're starting to move higher. This is the part of the cycle, the beginning, the early part stages that usually do very, very well. Again, we had a good run back here. We got our reset. and now moving higher. So that is one of the dashboards that I share with subscribers. I figured I'd just show you guys today. But overall, I am very bullish. I think that yes, nothing goes straight up. We're gonna get some chop. We know that we have FOMC, we have OPEX this week. People are a little exuberant on X right now, but overall, market looks great, and we should be looking for things to be buying, not things to be selling. All right. Thank you all so much. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope everyone's doing well out there. Take care.